Let us give a huge round for our Honorable Chief Jayant Mahapatra ji, the Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. B.R. Sharma ji, the Honorable Director of Operation Mr. Gaurav Verma ji, and the Honorable Seminar Director Professor Kamla Prasad Mahapatra ji. Can we have a huge round of applause, my dear friends? I request the delegates to kindly be seated. Thank you so much. Namaste, Jai Gurudev, hello, and a very good morning to all present here. I welcome you wholeheartedly on behalf of Sri Sri University, Odisha to the National Seminar on Reinventing Indian English Literature across the post-independence era, organized by SSU's Faculty of Arts, Communication and Indic Studies in collaboration with Srijan Bhuvaneshwar. Ladies and gentlemen, literature is a comprehensive essence of the intellectual life of the nation, and it takes a great deal of history to produce certain great and timeless works of literature. Friends, we are truly delighted to celebrate some epic Indian English authors and their writings in the post-independence era under the aegis of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We are indeed honored by the presence of our distinguished guests for today. Thank you so much for making your gracious presence felt. As per the tradition of SSU, we would like to begin the seminar by lighting the auspicious lamp. May I kindly request the dignitaries to please proceed for the lighting of the auspicious lamp. May I request the student volunteers to kindly escort our guests of honor as well as our distinguished delegates for lighting of the auspicious lamp. As we all light this lamp, we hope to rekindle the light of knowledge and creativity within us. May I have a huge round of applause for the beginning and commemoration of the National Seminar by FASIS, which is Faculty of Arts, Communication and Indic Studies at Sri Sri University, Odisha. A huge round of applause, my dear friends. Thank you so much. Can we please have a big round of applause, my dear friends? It's a very special moment for all of us, and may I kindly request all our distinguished guests and dignitaries to please come on the dais. I request all the distinguished guests and the dignitaries to please come on the dais. It is indeed our honor and privilege to have you all amongst us today. And we are really enthralled and feel privileged to have such esteemed guests amongst us for this very national seminar organized by Sri Sri University's Faculty of Arts, Communication and Indic Studies. I request, as a token of appreciation, to welcome our dignitaries. And for this, I request the Dean of Faculty of Arts, Communication and Indic Studies, Guru Ratikant Mahapatra ji, to kindly do the honors. Let us give a huge round of applause, my dear friends, for the Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Jayant Mahapatra ji. The applauses should continue for the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. B.R. Sharma ji. Please continue with the applauses, friends, as we felicitate the Honorable Director of Operation, Mr. Gaurav Verma ji. I would also like to request Dean Sir to please felicitate the Honorable Seminar Director, Professor Kamla Prasad Mahapatraji. Thank you so much, sir. And it is my honor and privilege to mention the presence of Sri Jukta Hariprasad Das ji, the keynote speaker for today, as well as Professor Amulya Purohit ji and Professor Asim Ranjan Parhi ji, the session moderators of this seminar. Thank you all once again. Friends, it is time to invite the students of performing arts for the ceremonial welcome song. The students would invoke Ma Saraswati and seek her divine blessings through their performance. I request the students to please begin the welcome song for today. Over to you. Wow, let us have a huge round of applause for that enchanting performance, dear students. Thank you so much. I would now like to call upon the Dean of Faculty of Arts, Communication and Indic Studies at Sri Sri University, Guru Ratikant Mahapatraji, to kindly deliver the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Namaskar, good morning. Revered Sri Jayant Mahapatra sir, esteemed speakers Sri Hariprasad Das and Professor Jatin Kumar Naik, Professor Asim Ranjan Parhi, Professor Purohit, Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. B.R. Sharma, Director Operations Gaurav Verma ji, esteemed deans, heads, faculty members of FASIS, SSU, distinguished delegates and dear students, Jai Gurudev to all of you. As Dean of the Faculty of Arts, Communication and Indic Studies, it is indeed my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to the National Seminar on Reinventing Indian English Literature across the post-independence era organized by Faculty of Arts, Communication and Indic Studies, Swiss University, in collaboration with Sujan Bhuvaneshwar. We are the proud people of a nation with a history of diverse cultures and customs going back several millennia, and the mingling of innumerable language and dialect. And through this seminar, we wish to celebrate the multifaceted aspects of India's indigenous culture, holistic values, literary depth, and social kaleidoscope, while shedding light on the requisite empowerment and equality that will carry us forward for generations to come. Very much in tandem with our journey of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, which counts down to our 75th anniversary of independence this year, the compelling effect of Indian English literature since independence has, over the years, highlighted the sheer strength of the adaptability and resilience of the Indian ethos. We look at India's literary idiosyncrasies over a diverse past through a contemporary lens in a society that is vibrant and ever evolving. The centuries that have gone by have shown us that Indian English literature is holistic and dynamic. We are a product of a thinking race which puts value systems ahead of temporal matters, a trait that has helped us withstand the test of time by upholding the principles of harmony, equity, accessibility, and inclusiveness to carve out a niche in the arena of world literature. With outstanding contributions of pre-independence writers and laureates, post-colonial and diasporic writers, and path-breaking post-modern novelists, original Indian works in English, and translations from a plethora of regional languages find themselves on a global platform. Studying the pre-independence and post-independence phases of Indian English literature plays a pivotal role in tracing the map of a distinct national identity as it's find voice through the works of renowned poets, authors, and dramatists. Since literature is a reflection of the past and the mirror of the society in present times, we look Indian English literature as a conduit to enhance our connection with our history, forming the basis of our creative expression in the present while giving us indomitable hope and an expansive vision for the future. The very purpose of this seminar is to listen to a gamut of stimulating perspective, exchange ideas, and disseminate information, weaving a rich tapestry of thoughts across a literary canvas. Before I conclude, I would like to say that we at Swiss University gather here again today to bring to the fore the varied messages of literature on socio-economic, gender political, historical, and cultural subjects, reiterating the motto of learn, lead, serve, with a view to impart social consciousness and value-integrated education, thereby equipping the students of today to become visionary thinkers and leaders of tomorrow. On this note, I would like to convey my best wishes and gratitude to all the esteemed speakers and panelists, Honorable Chief Guest, Vice Chancellor, Director of Operations, Director Seminar, Deans, Heads, students, everybody present here. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words of wisdom. I would now like to invite the Director of Operation of Sri Sri University, Mr. Gaurav Verma ji, to kindly address the gathering. Sir, over to you.
Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Jayant Mahapatra ji, Honorable VC Sir, Dean FASES Guru Ratikant ji, Deans from other faculties, various professors, students. I appreciate this effort of Faculty of Arts, Communication and Indian Studies to organize this seminar, national seminar on reinventing the Indian English literature post-independence. It is said in our scriptures that wise are the ones, those who spend time in arts, literature and games. Sahitya Kala and Krida. Of course, we all have to put our efforts to reinvent the English Indian literature. But the challenge lies in front of us is to see with the constant advancement at such a great at pace, we need to see to it to trigger the interest of masses into literature. That is the foremost thing we must see. As a student of literature, arts, communication, we must share the knowledge in a way that it becomes interesting for the reader or the one, to participate wholeheartedly. Yeah, of course, and then we need to weave the fiction and facts also. In this era of free speech, social media, everyone is participating to write and to express themselves. Here lies another challenge in front of us where we can weave the fiction with the facts. The literature should be such which instill the human values, which uplifts the courage, which enables one to see the unity in diversity. And this is the right platform, this is the right initiative taken by the Faculty of Arts, Communication and Indian Studies to see to it that how we can present and express in a way that people can participate, can learn, to serve the true purpose of literature, which is to educate and enlighten, entertain as well. Fiction entertains people, but it should be enlightening also. Yeah. So I congratulate the Faculty of Arts and Communication to take such initiative, and it is not just the faculty's responsibility. We must take this responsibility to participate in it and to see to it that how we can take it forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. You spoke about having enlightenment, but it was indeed an enlightening speech from your side where you spoke about weaving fiction with facts. That's so true, my dear friends. I would now like to invite the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Sri Sri University, Professor Dr. B.R. Sharma ji, to kindly address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Good morning. Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev. Today's chief guest, Professor Jayant Mahapatra ji. Before I go ahead, I was just surfacing today in the morning, and I came to know that he is a man. At this moment, he is 94 years old. He was not feeling well today. In spite of that, he has honored our request and make it to come. And you will be surprised to note that he is the man who could get this Sahitya Academy Award in 1981 in the English literature. First Sahitya Academy Award. He is also Padma Shri. He was awarded Padma Shri in 2009. But to the protest against the intolerance, he had given back that reward also to Government of India. Am I right, sir? Friends, today, if I speak about him, it will take a long time. So this is the two. I think that our organizers, they are going to introduce him. Today, we have the chief speaker, Har Prasad Das ji. uh, Shri Professor Prohit ji and our friend Asim Ranjan Pari ji, and all the deans, Professor Ratikant Mahapatra ji, Kamala Prasad Mahapatra ji, our deans, HODs, our deputy registrar, our IQAC director Shri Vishnu Prasad Das ji, and all the esteemed speakers of today's seminar, and my dear student friends. The topic is clear, it is written in front of you. And beautifully, in other words, Gaurav Verma has given me the lead. It is said in Sanskrit, Sahitya Sangeet Kala Bihina Sakshat Pashu Puch Vishan Hina. Sahitya, Sangeet, Kala. Sahitya, Sangeet, Kala, Bihina. If you do not have this, then what kind of animal we are? Puch Bichan Hina. There's no tail and there's no horns. We are that kind of Pashu. Therefore, we have to reinvent. And therefore, the purpose of this seminar is to reinvent the Indian English literature. Today, because, when I was thinking in the morning that the person who is coming to us is 94 years old, and still he is in action. So, it was reminded, Kavya Shastra Vinodena, it is written in Sanskrit, Kavya Shastra Vinodena Kalo Gachati Dhimatam. If you indulge yourself in this study of Kavya Shastra, and if you are totally engrossed in it, because as rightly said by Gaurav Verma ji, that whatever is written, the literature lead us towards our what you call the ancient lore. And if we develop that kind of respect or reverence towards that, I think automatically we get that kind of courage, that kind of motivation, that kind of vigor, and it helps us to reinforce the values which are there in the literature. The purpose of everything in Indian thought is to take us towards that end. And what is that? Just to realize ourselves, who we are. And with a view to realize this, this literature helps us to move, to find the ways and means. And that is the most important part of the literature, which is important. For centuries, the Indian English literature has been a platform for writers to showcase their artistic talents and express their perspective on the world. From Rabindranath Tagore to Salman Rushdie, or I would say up to the Dr. Jayanti Mahapatra, the Indian English literature has produced some of the most renowned writers and works in the world. However, in recent times, the field has been undergoing a major transformation. A new generation of writers like Arvind Adiga and Chetan Bhagat etc., is emerging, and they are using their literary skills to bring fresh perspectives and experiences to the forefront. This is reinvigorating the field and allowing Indian English literature to evolve and to grow exciting new ways. Again, I would like to emphasize that we should not forget our tradition that gives us a value-based literature. That part is to be taken care of if the new writers also think of it. The theme of this seminar, the Reinventing Indian English Literature, is the testament to this. We are here to explore and celebrate the new ideas and perspectives that are shaping the future of Indian English literature. So let's embrace this opportunity to learn and to share and to be inspired by the talented writers and the thinkers who are shaping the future of this exciting world. Friends, this is the actually time that if you pay little attention to the speakers who are going to present or who are going to talk about the literature and this reinvention of the Indian English literature, I think you will be more benefited. As I said in the beginning, that unless we have the background, the purpose, what is the purpose of history? You know, the Shivaji Maharaj, his mother Jijabai always was talking about the bravery things in front of him when he was a child and what happened to him. So I think that we have to think in that line and we have to develop that kind of what you call the interest towards our history, towards our literature, and then only we can develop that kind of what you call the inculcate that kind of value within ourselves. And I hope that this seminar will help us to know many things, and I wish all the success for this seminar. Thank you very much.
That was a very invigorating speech, sir. Thank you so much for motivating our students. Thank you once again indeed. Friends, although the Honorable President of Sri Sri University, Professor Rajita Kulkarni ji, could not be present in person to address the gathering, she has sent her best wishes for the seminar and has wished all the paper presenters as well as delegates a successful participation. Thank you so much, President Madam, for your constant support and guidance. It is now indeed an honor and privilege to mark the esteemed presence of our chief guest. May I kindly request the Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, of Sri Sri University, Professor Dr. B.R. Sharma ji, to please felicitate our chief guest, an internationally acclaimed poet and a famous writer, Shri Jayant Mahapatra ji. A huge round of applause, my dear friends, for none other than Honorable Shri Jayant Mahapatra ji. The applauses should continue, my dear friends. Can we have a standing ovation, please, for our chief guest of the National Seminar on Reinventing Indian English Literature across the post-independence era, for none other than Shri Jayant Mahapatra ji. The applauses should continue. We truly, truly feel obliged to have his gracious presence felt amongst us today. Thank you so much, sir. May I now invite the director of the seminar, Professor Kamla Prasad Mahapatra ji, to kindly give the concept note address of the seminar and introduce the chief guest for today. Over to you, sir.
Om Ashadoma Sat Gamaya Tamashoma ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मा अमृतोर्गमय ओम शांति ओम शांति ओम शांति. Esteemed chief guest, the doyen of Indian English literature, the pride of India, and still the super pride of Odisha, Jayant Mahapatra, a name that tingles a kind of creative passion in everybody. We are privileged, ladies and gentlemen, to have such a legendary poet in our midst. I owe my gratitude to you, sir. Despite your illness, you have come over here and you have inspired everybody over here. I fail in my words how to convey my sense of gratitude and obligation. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Sharma, respected Director of Operations, Mr. Gaurav Vermaji, our Honorable Dean, Professor Ratikant Mahapatra, without whose active involvement and cooperation, this seminar would not have been successful. I still owe my gratitude to Professor Mahapatra, although he is our family head and all that. Our esteemed keynote speaker, still another legend in the field of creative writing and critical thinking, eminent columnist, renowned writer, contemporary thinker, Shrijukta Haraprasad Das, esteemed professor, my senior colleague, my elder brother, Professor Amulya Kishore Purohit, former Director of Higher Education, Odisha, my friend, Professor Asim Ranjan Padhi, Professor and Head, Department of English, Utkal University, all the delegates, my dear colleagues, my dear students, media friends, ladies and gentlemen. I deem it a privilege to present before you the concept note address of the seminar, ladies and gentlemen, as a part of Amrit Mahotsav, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebration. We thought of organizing a seminar. What could be a better topic than reinventing Indian English literature across the post-independence era? We all know, while traversing the tumultuous trajectory of colonization, Indian English literature has come a long way in a very unfazed, unruffled, unscathed manner, having withstood the onslaughts of challenges, onslaughts of the cataclysm of colonization. What we see today is our Indian English literature, which has been able to carve out a niche for itself across the global platform. And we are privileged to have among us the first Sahitya Academy awardee in Indian English poetry in 1981 for his book Relationship, Shrijukta Jayanta Mahapatra. The first awardee in Indian English literature for novel was R.K. Narayan in 1960 for his book The Guide, and Jayant sir got it for his book The Relationship. So Indian English literature across the post-independence era, we have kept it because it will cover a wider canvas. It will cover post-colonial literature. It will cover diasporic literature. The writers who have emigrated from India and settled abroad, they are having the sense of nostalgia, and they have been focusing on Indian tradition, Indian culture, Indian society, Indian folk legends, myths, etc. We have also been focusing on translation studies. The classics are being translated into English for a wider circulation among the clientele. So that is why we propose to have this seminar, which will have a wider canvas for the delegates to present their papers. Our response has been wonderful, and I'm really overwhelmed with joy that we have got very wonderful response from the delegates, and we have as many as 15 papers, some online, some offline. Ladies and gentlemen, starting from Henry Derogio, Michael Madhusudan Dutt, Lal Bihari De, Taru Dutt, we have landed up with people like Chetan Bhagat, Bikram Seth, Geeta Hariharan, Jhumpa Lahiri, Manju Kapoor, and a host of others. Jayant Mahapatra, A.K. Ramanujan, R. Parthasarathi, the trio. We have two trios. One trio in poetry, Indian English poetry, the other trio in Indian English fiction. In Indian English poetry, the trio are Jayanta Mahapatra, A.K. Ramanujan, R. Parthasarathi. But there is a difference. Jayanta Mahapatra stands out as a distinguished person. Those people, they settled abroad. But Jayanta Mahapatra preferred to stay in Cuttack. Because if you go through his poetry, you find he has been trying to explore the relationship of his own self with the rest of the world. He deals with the phenomenal reality of the external world in an ironic manner and also talks about his own inner self. He laments about the loss of glory, the loss of heroism, the loss of chivalry, the loss of, expertise and enterprising ability of the Odiyas. He talks about a quadrangle, Cuttack, Puri, Bhubaneswar and Konark. His relationship is divided into 12 parts where he has tried to explore the relationship. What introduction does Jayanta Mahapatra need? Well, I am in a quandary, ladies and gentlemen. He himself is the introduction. He himself is an open book. He started his literary journey, creative journey way back in 1971 with Close the Sky 10 by 10 and Swayamvara and other poems. He has never looked back. Published widely abroad and in India. Awarded so many awards which I don't like to highlight. VC sir has already spoken about it. Padma Shri, Sahitya Academy Award in 1981 and so many, Glattenstein Awards, so many awards. So, Jayant Mahapatra is a familiar and household name in India, let alone in Odisha. And we are proud that he is born in our state. So, he needs no introduction. The only thing I would say, he talks about, the decadence, death. You will find recurrent images, door, silence, sleep, cuffed hands, rain. He likes to drench in the rain even now. He writes in Odia, Baya Raja, Kahibi Gotiye Katha, Bhor Motira Kanaphulo. Bhor Motira Kanaphulo is supposed to be his autobiography in Odia. And it is so, moving, so lilting, so stimulating. One is struck with awe and wonder. Ki sir remembers so much. And what is his attachment? His emotional attachment to his soil. A poet rooted to his soil doesn't like to go out of Cuttack. He is in love with Cuttack. He loves the panwala. He loves the rickshawala. He loves the milk supplier. He loves his maidservant. He loves the people, the subaltern people around him. And his most favorite creation is, he was asked on one occasion, he said, my most favorite creation is temple, where he has talked about the commitment, the sacrifice of a woman. Talks about a couple, South Indian couple, Chelamal and Ramanujan. And he has shown there what is the sacrifice of a woman. Talk about Balaram Das talking about Lakshmi Puran, singing the glory of women and talking about empowerment, women empowerment. Here is another person. He was in Panchashakha Yug, 16th century, and he in 20th century he is also talking about the sacrifice of women, sacrifice of Chelamal. The volume is divided into 3 parts: Hall of Dancing, Hall of Offering, Sanctum Sanctorum, or the Shrine, wherein he has talked about the redemption, the salvation of Chelamal's soul. After making so much of sacrifice, she finds redemption in her own sacrifice. So that is the kind of theme I would like to say कि he is the T.S. Eliot of India. Jayanta Mahapatra is the T.S. Eliot of India. Time present and time present, time past are both perhaps in present in time future. If time past is contained in time future, then all time is unredeemable. That is Jayanta Mahapatra. Age cannot wither him, nor custom can stale his infinite variety. He is unique. He is superb. And we are very much privileged and proud to have him in our midst. We are extremely happy that all our officials, all our faculty members, all our deans, all our media persons, all our students, they have joined this seminar. I am extremely excited. We are going to have very wonderful deliberations, and I believe all of you will never be disappointed. You will be totally engrossed amid the deliberations, and it is going to be a wonderful session for all of us. So thank you very much. You have given me a patient hearing. Thanks a lot. I would like to once again thank our honorable chief guest, Shrijukta Jayanta Mahapatra, for having given his consent to be here and to encourage, inspire our delegates and our faculty members, our staff of Sri Sri University, Cuttack. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःख भाग् भवेत् ओम शांति ओम शांति ओम शांति. Thank you very much. Jai Jagannath.
Thank you so much, Professor Kamla Prasad Mahapatra ji, for setting the tone of this event and building the context so well. Friends, it is our great fortune to have a living legend amongst us as the chief guest for today. Sir, this congregation has become more august with your august presence. And now, I would like to humbly request our chief guest, Shrijukta Jayanta Mahapatra ji, to kindly address the gathering. Sir, we feel privileged to listen to you.
Thank you very much. I hope you didn't believe all that Professor Mahapatra told you. I don't know what to tell you today. I'm a struggling poet. I still, when I sit down to write a poem, it's a great struggle for me. It's not, a poem doesn't come so easily. It takes time, it takes pain, it takes your sweat, it takes your tears. And a poem doesn't come so very easily, no, never. But, there were poets, very great poets before us. Let me talk to you about a poet whom I admire very much. All of you must have heard about Khalil Gibran. He was a great poet. I respect him, I admire him, and I know I can't write like him. Can I quote a poem of his? Please listen to this poem. Gibran's poem says, one day you will ask me, which is more important, your life or mine? One day you will ask me, which is more important, your life or mine? And I will say, mine. Then you will walk away without knowing that you are my life. What a beautiful poem it is. And when you read a poem like this, you don't want to write anymore. You just settle in the mood, in the romance, in the beauty of that poem. That's what I want to do. I want to read poetry. I've written enough. Poetry doesn't matter now. But poems like these will stay. Jayanta Mahapatra's poetry will not stay, whatever you may say. Sir, पानी पीऊँगा. Thank you, sir. रहने दीजिए. Yes, I was talking about the core of a poem, the beauty of a poem. And it is the heart that makes up the poem, not the mind. It's the heart which sees. The eyes do not see, but the heart sees, and the heart talks about what it sees. But for the heart to see, the poet must see, must hear, must feel the world around him. If he doesn't know how to see, how to feel, how to hear, what will he write about? He has to write about the world. He can't write about himself all the time. Of course, love is a great subject in poetry, as you saw from Vibrant's little poem, little gem. But that doesn't mean all. Poetry is something else. It comes from the heart, not from the mind. You know, I didn't study literature or poetry or anything like that. I studied physics, I studied science. But to my mind, both higher physics and higher poetry, I mean, poetry which is of a superior quality, superior which takes you up above the level in which we live. This poetry and this physics are ambiguous things. You cannot understand what happens when you take up a poem which talks of higher things. Similarly, you don't know what happens when you talk of higher physics. Actually, physics becomes the science of the heart. Physics becomes the science of the intellect. It's the intellect, the science of the intellect which makes physics. But poetry is the science of the heart. And it is the heart to which we must turn all the time to write poetry. Our poetry is always an expression of life. It's what life teaches us. It's how you have seen life. And you know, what you have experienced in life, our primary experiences are which matter in the writing of poetry. You can't write poetry if you stick to a particular moral stance. I can tell you that. I mean, you can't be a train. You can't be a person in a train and go along the same railway lines day after day, day after day. You have to get out of yourself. You have to see, you have to move out. And that is what poetry does. If you want to write good poetry, move out of yourself. The world is there before you, the whole world, and so we just let yourself go, lie down, float in the river, and the river will take you along, will carry you along, like Hamlet's Ophelia. Poetry is a wonderful thing, you know. When I started writing poetry, I didn't know anything about poetry. I was a student of physics. और मुझे कुछ भी पता नहीं था कि क्या पोएट्री क्या है. But then it happened. Sometimes things happen without your knowing. You don't know when you see a girl and you fall in love with her. You can't say that I'm going to fall in love with this person. No. It happens. All these things happen and we don't know why things happen. And so as I was saying, once upon a time, I was in the classroom and I began writing a poem when I was very, very old. I was really old when I wrote my first poem. But that poem helped me to live. That poetry, you know, I was not a very serious person. I was a restless person. I was indifferent.